here. It's really a pleasure. As you already said, these are extraordinary times actually for air transport. The current crisis is more severe than anything we have seen in the past or in the history of aviation, and actually it's very much unlike anything else we have seen, especially because now it's fully global, let's say, right? So we estimate already that the industry will be in this year will be dropping revenues to the level of $340 billion, unfortunately, and we don't expect actually the industry to fully recover before 2023. Greece, obviously, like most countries around the world, is an example of just how important aviation is overall, right? As IATA actually estimates that air transport supports nearly half a million, jobs, and contributes actually to 10% of the Greek GDP. So it is vital to the economy here, but also in the rest of Europe. The airline industry, in this case, not only needs to survive actually, but to be able to fully contribute, it has to recover fully to be able to, once these restrictive measures that are today in place are lifted. So right now, actually, our primary focus in IATA and in the industry in general is actually on the restart. We're actually working very closely with the states, with the European Commission, with health officials, ICAO, with the EASA, and to ensure actually that the industry manage a system of health, that will allow us to give security to the passengers and our employees actually at the same time, to return to service in the best way possible and actually be able to link again people and economies around the globe, right? We have actually proposed as well a set of measures that we believe will give governments the confidence to reopen their borders. It is a risk-based layer approach to biosecurity that requires actually global coordination, which is very much needed, obviously, in aviation. Arriving countries must be definitely confident that all procedures that took place on the departing airports, right? And travels actually need to know there are common measures in place to protect them, right? So we're working to ensure that we don't repeat some of the mistakes we have seen, for example, after September 11, where multiple security measures were implemented in non-coordinated fashion, and actually 2 decades later, we are still seeing or struggling some of these, let's say to achieve some harmonization. Let's put it that way. So unfortunately, we have also seen uncoordinated state-specific decisions that were made, for example, on the quarantines, right? As a global industry, air transport, as I said earlier, operates effectively only under universal and global rules and regulation, right? So the case of UK, France, and Spain are just a few of the countries that have actually announced quarantines, but with very little specificity. So the quarantines on arriving passengers, but not enough clarity. And in that line, we actually went on and surveyed 11 markets just to see what was the reaction, right? And we found out like 84% of travelers said that their main concern, actually it's a big concern, the quarantine measures, and 69% actually said that they will not travel if those measures are in place, right? So in the risk-based and layer approach system that we are proposing, there are temperature checks, there are other measures on departure that to keep symptomatic travelers from flying, and a robust government management system of health declarations, and also very rigorous contact tracing can actually manage the risk on asymptomatic ones, right? As an industry, we have seen a few other cases in the past, so we have experiences on health crises like the SARS epidemics, H1N1, as well as Ebola, not too far in the past, right? So it is also very important to understand that aircrafts are already very safe places to be in with regards to actually transmission of illnesses, right? clear, the air it's continually brought into the cabin by through filtered EPA, filtration systems, and the flow on the air cabin is actually much more intensified than in a regular building that we have. So it's quite continuous. And then also we have to consider that the flow of air is actually from the ceiling to the floor, right? So actually passengers are facing forward, so there is no a lot of facing each other kind of thing, so limiting face-to-face interaction. And also the seats are providing extra barriers for transmission. So we think the aircraft itself is a quite safe environment. Finally, actually, I would like to thank governments around the world because they have actually stepped in and ensure the airline industries actually will be able to survive. There are about 25 million jobs in the world that are supported by aviation, that is including travel and tourism, which will be at risk due to this crisis. So their support has been key because without it, actually airlines will run out of cash. And if they fail, there will be a negative fallout across the travel and tourism value chain in general, overall, right? So simply put it, I mean, a healthy, functioning air travel industry is actually key to bring the world back and the global economy to recuperate. So looking forward to the discussion today, and thank you for the opportunity.